Next up is Emmy Award-winning anchor and author of 5 books. 5, Steve? Really 5? Including his newest, Lessons in Leadership, Steve Adubato. Steve's firm, Stand and Deliver, provides coaching and leadership development, including coaching women who are in or entering or seeking to enter the C-suite. He also hosts a radio show podcast on AM 970 called Steve Adubato's Leadership Hour. It's awesome. I've checked it out, and you should too. Steve, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Michelle. By the way, I would be remiss. Deb was talking about the 2 phones. How many people, by applause, have 2 phones? As Deb was talking about the 2 phones, Jill Kaplan's second phone went off. I thought to myself, Karen, you have a second one? You probably have 4, but that's all right. I thought to myself, you know, I think it's challenging. I think it's difficult to be a leader who happens to be a charismatic middle-aged guy. But I've coached and worked with so many women, many of whom are in this room. For many of the partners who support it today, I'm fortunate enough, blessed enough to not just have them underwrite our broadcasting work, but in our firm Stand and Deliver, I do executive coaching, leadership development, and many of those women are in this room. I think to myself, guys have no idea. We're clueless. I took the garbage out this morning. I wanted a gold medal from my wife. I read to our daughter Olivia, who turned 8 yesterday. I wanted applause. My wife said, you read to her. I do that 4 times a week. Point being, I'm not here to trash men, which would be easy to do. I'm here to praise the women in this room. I'm here to recognize you, Michelle, NJBIA, because I said every time I've attended, every time I've had the honor of speaking at a BIA event, I say, where do they get not just the number of professionals here, where do they get the talent? Where do they get the diversity? Where do they get such empowered, empowering women to come together, and others, engaged and enlightened men, the 6 that are, I see. And it's impressive, but I want to share a couple things with you. Because I was listening to Deb, I thought to myself, my job is to share. My job is to give my insight, whatever value that is from writing those books on leadership and communication. But I want to share a little story. I mentioned our daughter, Olivia. We have 3 boys before that, a 26-year-old from my first marriage. I always like to clarify that. They're like, well, what are you married? Like Larry King like 8 times? Like, no, twice. And that's it. I want to keep it that way. A 26-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a little girl, first girl, who's 8. If my boys are in the room, if our boys are in this room, I probably wouldn't say it. She is the strongest. She is the most confident. She is the bravest. She also speaks her mind in a way that I find that I am powerless. So tonight, you talk about women coming together and engaging and being empowered. Tonight, our daughter Olivia insisted, engaged us, persuaded us that she is having a sleepover tonight with 8 other girls. Now, I want you to envision this. It's Friday night. Been doing seminars all week, executive coaching on the air. We have a U.S. Senate special we're doing next week, which I'm sure between Bob Menendez and Bob Eugen would be nothing but collegial and polite. It's Jersey. So, okay, I wanted to chill. And my daughter said, Dad, tonight we have all my 8 friends. She named all of them. I said, what are you doing? And talk about women empowering themselves. She had an agenda. She showed it to me. First, making slime at 7 o'clock. Anyone appreciate slime? By applause, slime. By the way, I'm talking about slime, and I just asked our videographer, can I use this later? I'm realizing now, how could I use this as a marketing tool? I'm talking about slime. Second, pizza coming at 7:35. They better be on time. Making ice cream sundaes at 8. Watching a dog movie called, anyone? What is it? It's about dogs. So I said to her, Olivia, I have this whole thing planned. And by the way, one more thing. She went online on Monday of this week, and she wanted to make sure that every little girl, every strong, confident, talented, outspoken, and wonderful little girl who's coming tonight, her friends who are sleeping over, all had pajamas. She went online, found the most cost-effective deal that she could cut with her mother and I, and she has 8. I'm not joking, this is real. 8, they're coming today. They better come today, or trust me, she'll be on the phone with someone or online, and they'll all be dressed. And Olivia is the only one with long pants. Everyone else has shorts, so that she wants to stand out as the official leader of the group. I just wanted to share that. Every bit of that is true. There will be pictures. We'll get approval from the parents, Karen, to get that done. But I share that with you because when I look at our daughter, I think to myself, as I was getting ready for today, my job is to coach, to try to motivate, to try to engage, to teach, right, blah, blah, blah. But when I look at her, and I look in this room, I see certain characteristics, not across the board, but consistent. I think to myself, what do you have to break through? The C-suite? What do you have to do if you, and I said this to Michelle a few moments ago, what do you do and what do you have to have inside yourself if you're trying to do everything you can, working hard, working long hours, sacrificing your family, and you make a decision, you know what? I can't crack through. I've done enough, I've given enough, it's everything I've got, and you break out and you say, wait a minute, I'm going to start my own thing. I look at my friend Karen Kessler, you started your own thing. And there's nothing wrong with the corporate world. Trust me, they pay a lot of bills in our family because they're great clients and sponsors. But if you've decided that you've done everything you could, I am a big fan of using those skills and tools and empowering yourself and deciding, I'm going into the marketplace myself. I'm creating my own thing. And by the way, I believe in that entrepreneurial spirit also in an organization, in a corporate culture, because that is part of the success that you need. When I saw the term empowering each other or empower each other, I thought, what does that really mean to me? And one of the keys to empowerment to me is engagement. I often tell my clients, if you're not engaging, you're not effective. What does that mean? Well, I have great information. I had a client many years ago who said, Steve, I have a PowerPoint presentation I want to give, and I'd like your coaching. Okay, fine. A CFO of the company. So he happened to have a lot of numbers. And I said, Jim, how many PowerPoint slides do you have? And he said, why? And I said, well, because it matters. And he said, 111. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you say 111? He said, yeah, 111. I said, why? He said, well, I have a lot to tell people. I said, really? What happens after the third one when they're not listening anymore? I said, are you going to engage people? He said, no, I'm going to tell them stuff. Telling is not engaging. Leading is not engaging. If we're not connecting, we don't empower. So in that spirit, I have a question. Yeah, I've got some tips and tools. And by the way, I am uncomfortable with self-promotion. By the way, my book is on our website that you can get. I can't give it, I'm sorry, because I have greedy kids. But this podcast that Michelle talked about on AM 970, yeah, it's on every Sunday at 2, but I have a bookmark for everyone with some tips and tools and promotes that podcast, which, by the way, you can just get on our website at stand-deliver.com. But let me just share this. I have tips and tools, and I'll share them on the back side of that bookmark, and please follow me on Twitter. You see it there. All right, enough of the promotion. I have a question. Before I share my tips and tools, in the limited time we have here, I want to engage you and ask this question. And I know we're going to have mics all over the room, so don't worry about it. Michelle always wants to know, like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, Michelle, I have a game plan, but then I feel certain things. And when I was in this room, I thought, how could I do this and not engage you? So here's my question. Identify just one tip, tool, technique, piece of advice that you'd want to share, 15 seconds or less. You do this by putting your hand up and being the leaders you are. I know you will. One tip or tool that you want to share with your colleagues to empower your colleagues in this room as to how, A, you have led successfully, or B, how you've helped someone else reach her potential. One tip or tool that you want to share with your colleagues, 15 seconds or less. Put your hand up or I'm just going to call on you anyway. Yes, all the way back there. Just because it's a big room, stand up.
Create an environment of trust.
Create an environment of trust. By the applause, how many people like invade and create an environment of trust? And by the way, think about this. You know, Deb mentioned it, 50% of your board. Okay, I was doing a seminar recently. It's a leadership academy. I cannot mention the organization because I don't want to lose the contract. And there were 30 people in this leadership academy. I said, pick your high potential people. Put them in this academy. I'll do small group coaching with them. I'll do one-on-one. 27 of them were men. And I asked the question of the CEO and the head of HR, are you saying you don't have any other high potential professionals who happen to be women? And the answer was, well, the guys who made the decision didn't pick them. Trust, an organizational culture that supports promoting people with high potential and actually seriously looking at that as opposed to the most obvious choices because I know that guy. That's lame. Okay, give me another piece of advice. I saw a hand right here. Young lady right here. Come on, stand up. You got to project. Build, where did you, hold on, where's your book that I can get that's called Build It? See, yeah, see, by the way, you're a little shy. What's your name again?
My name is Karen Ross.
What is it?
Karen Ross.
Karen, what did you say again?
My name is Karen Ross.
No, not that part. Okay. By the way, this is Karen Ross, okay? We got that part. What was the piece of advice?
Build a growth mindset with authenticity.
I like that. Who's got something else? You don't have to applaud for everything. Karen got enough. Yes, right here. Who are you?
I'm Loretta Sargent.
Are you related to Karen Ross? Okay. Go ahead, Loretta.
Provide accountability not only within the workplace but also within your family so that they understand your work-life balance has to come from both sides.
Let's hear it for that. I like that. But I want to press that a little bit. Everyone write the word accountability with a question mark down. Trust me on this. One of the tips and tools that I have with folks, because I do a lot of coaching and I coach people to coach others, my experience, truly holding people accountable for performance is not consistent in organizational life. And I'm going to say this to you. While men are challenged by it, the women that I've coached over the years are challenged not across the board, but disproportionately. A high percentage of women have a difficult time confronting directly the poor performance of someone on their team. And when I've coached them, I get things like this. She's got real issues at home. Her husband's a jerk, which I hear a lot, which I'm sure you're shocked by. Or they just had a family situation. Or she's been with us for 20 years. She's such a nice person. I know. But Jim Collins wrote a wonderful book, you may know, Good to Great. And on the book he said, great leaders are bus drivers. They're bus drivers who not only are driving the bus, but they know where the bus is going. They know why the bus is going there. They know when the bus needs to get there. They only have 47 seats on the bus. They have the right people sitting in the right seats for the right reasons to get the bus where the bus needs to go. And you know what? Every seat's at a premium. And some people, if you coach them and mentor them, give them advice, give them time, if they don't get to where you need to go, you need to confront the reality that they can't be on the bus anymore. And I am telling you, if you take nothing else away from what I'm saying other than this pajama party tonight, I'm telling you now, confronting difficult, uncomfortable, performance-related situations where ultimately, sometimes, Jill, you're shaking your head, you got to move that person off the bus. Even if they call you names, Colin Powell once said to me, in one of the chapters in my book is called Great Leaders Sometimes Piss People Off. I said, General, why do they do that? And he said, because they make the hard calls. They make the tough decisions. They're not trying to get people angry with them, but it happens. And tell you right now, from my experience, if we are not willing, men or women, but this is a message directly to every woman here, if you are not willing and or able to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and having hard conversations that ultimately sometimes conclude with you escorting someone off that bus with dignity and respect and empathy, But clearly, because the bus needs to get where it has to go, why it has to go there, and when it has to go there. Because I'm telling you now, being nice, and you confuse that with not dealing directly, it's not leadership. And I know people don't love hearing that, but that's from my experience coaching for 20 years, managing and leading others and making lots of mistakes. Someone else, coaching and mentoring and leading, empowering others. Young lady right here, stand up. Who are you?
I am Juanita Daly. Good morning.
Juanita, nice to see you.
Hi. I think what you need to do is encourage people to work in their strengths. Work on your strengths and not as much on your weaknesses.
Huh? Wait a minute. Work on the strengths. What about, I have my clients do a mini 360 where they ask, so if Michelle were doing this, I'd just say, Michelle, ask 4 people around you, someone you report to, which would be somebody on your board, someone your staff, someone peer, whatever, your 3 greatest strengths as a leader and 2 areas where you need to improve and an example that backs that up. You're saying Michelle should only focus on the 3 areas where she's great? What about the 2 opportunities for growth? Are you saying don't do that?
I am saying that if you were to put 10% of more effort, say you have a strength at an 8 and a weakness at a 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you give 10% more effort, your 8 becomes 8.8, your 2 only becomes 2.2. You can partner with somebody.
Why don't you write a book with her? Okay.
No offense, Karen. I'm working on my own.
Okay, now look at this. Michelle, hold on. Time out. Time out. We're talking about empowering, sharing information. There's a sisterhood, apparently. No, I'm not riding with you. I've got my own. So much for that. But let me, yeah, time, that's it? Oh my God. Because there's so much other great stuff you're going to hear from other people, I'm going to respect that. But I'm going to just share this with you. I appreciate what you're saying, but I'll take this. One of the tips on the back of that bookmark, and by the way, please follow me on Twitter at Steve Adubato. And listen to our podcast free. Don't pitch you on anything. Our podcast is right there on stand-deliver.com. I'm going to say this. I tell my clients, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And the other tip that you'll see there is great leaders are lifelong learners. What does that mean? Identify where you're strong. That's great. Constantly look for where you can get better. Oh, I don't like speaking in public. It's not my thing. Good. I'm going to put you in an uncomfortable position. Trust me. Do it a couple times. Get feedback. Do it again. Fall down. You will get better. And all of a sudden, you'll forget that whole thing about, I'm not a great public speaker. Translation. Constantly find opportunities to grow. So look, the other thing is time management, which I'm working on. And I'm ending right now. I cannot thank Michelle enough. New Jersey Business. By the way, it's here for the Business and Industry Association. I want to say thank you. I want to say you are great. And New Jersey and this country is in great shape, particularly if more women take over leadership positions. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you.